Hey guys, this is Fan Confessions, the podcast about two friends, two fans, and the K-Wave. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Lisa.
And welcome to the place where we share our love of all things K-pop and our personal experiences as fans.
Okay, everyone. So here we are, another week. And I thought we'd start off with something that's been on a lot of people's minds for the last week. So the Grammys. What do you think?
Well, I will be totally honest and transparent. I am not huge into the award ceremonies, but I did watch, everything about BTS and what was going on there and the major highlights. Because, and I know this was when everyone was just dying to see what was going to happen, right?
Oh yeah, totally. It was interesting to watch how they adapted to pandemic life and having an award show during a pandemic. Like the performances, there were some really, really great performances, and Trevor Noah was a pretty good host for an award show. There was many COVID one-liners that you got tired of pretty fast, but you're not watching a music award show typically for the host. You're there for the performances, right? I think one of the biggest positive impression that was left in me was Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa was amazing. Yeah. She blew my mind. I really appreciated her music before, but I think I've become a fan after seeing her on that show.
I really love her. And hey, she's done some great K-pop collabs out there. I don't know if y'all have listened to them, but she's great. I think that's my favorite Blackpink song is them together with Dua Lipa. She's a powerhouse. Yeah. Touch me like you touch nobody. Put your hands all up on me. Tired of hearing sorry. So make you kiss and make up.
100%. And her and Hwasa, if you're gonna go down the road of her and Blackpink, Dua Lipa and Hwasa, also highly recommended, everyone.
I love that one. It was totally giving me some old 80s workout vibes, and
I know.
It's
like I totally wanted to wear neon leg warmers. It was totally giving that vibe.
Yeah. So I was gonna say the other one I thought was notable was Harry Styles, and Billie Eilish also had some pretty memorable. A guy in a boa. I was like, are we going to see that in K-pop soon?
Oh yeah.
It kind of made me think.
Did you see the famous banana necklace?
No, I did not. Okay, so I'll have to look up something later.
Yeah, it's total phallic symbol. It's he was feeling himself. It was good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, he is so into whatever he's doing, and I'm totally okay with that.
I am right in there with him. It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's why we all tune in, right?
Yeah. There was some history-making moments with Beyonce, making the record for the most awarded artist, either male or female. So power to Beyonce and all her glory.
Totally. Well deserved for sure.
Definitely. That woman is a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Some unfortunate... Since we are a primarily K-pop channel, so we're gonna go into the sad news was that one missed opportunity from history-making moment was sadly not taken, and our precious boys, did not get their first Grammy, but they did have an epic performance.
Yeah, that's what it's about, right? The fact that they were even there in the first place. And it's kind of baby steps, right? They kind of made their first full appearance before, and then now is another step to actually performing and getting all the attention and being nominated like they were. So it's all moves in the right direction. Of course, everyone's going to be super bummed that they didn't get it. I will say I have a confession when we're talking about this. So
perfect timing.
Yeah. So due to popular belief is obviously we all wanted them to win, and I wanted them to win as well. But I'll be honest in saying Dynamite has not been my favorite BTS comeback or song. It Like, it's not that I dislike the song by any means. Like, I feel like it came at the right time. It was positive. We all needed a little something like that. Um, but something about it, I don't know. It's not the fact even too, like, yes, it's all in English, and I wish it was kind of like they're being nominated for something that they do in their own country. And I get they're trying to, appeal to mass market and everything like that. But I don't know, something about it didn't feel 100% them to me, where that everyone got their time to shine. So to me, it felt like the rappers took a lot of the backseat in that song. And so if they were to win a Grammy, I want them to win for something that just felt like so perfect for them. And I mean, that's going to be impossible to line up. It's just going to be what it's going to be. But that would be my ideal world, because like, I think we've talked about how much we love the Love Yourself trilogy of albums and how amazing those were. And so if they could have won for something like that, like I think of DNA, well, would have been the perfect song to win a Grammy for. The timing obviously doesn't seem to work out. So
yeah, exactly. And the Persona, like we talked, like you said, the Love Yourself series, but the Persona series too was just masterful. And there were so many songs that really like made you think and made you feel, and like whole albums I think could have been given up for possible nomination if they tried, and it would have been totally 100% worthy. I know like it's a hard thing to do. Like the Grammys is the biggest music award show in the world, but it's also, like many people have said, it's very local too, because hard for international artists to really get recognized in the Grammys because they stick to American very primarily. And it just seems a little unfair sometimes. Like it makes you wonder, like, because like you have to meet certain criteria to be part of the voting committee.
Right.
And you have to be able to have some knowledge in what you're voting on. But sometimes it feels like they call it in a bit and they're not really paying attention or take the extra effort, especially with foreign language songs.
For sure. Like, I definitely feel like it's long overdue that a lot of these artists are getting noticed, and that, like BTS for me, it deserves it in my heart 100%, a million times over by now. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's still quite a bit to climb. And I mean, we're seeing that in other award ceremonies are having a lot of drama right now as well. So the Grammys isn't the only award ceremony that's kind of on spotlight right now. Maybe next year will be it. That's where I'm like, it's an upset for now, but honestly, they're just, like they were saying to everybody in their interview, right? They're just going to come back and do something even better, and then no one can ignore it. And that's where I'm like, I'm not concerned, because I know they'll just come out with something great, and people will notice it. The fact that they just have come so far in the past while, so I don't see that slowing down any.
Yeah, there's too much creativity and magic in those 7 brains for to not be able to top what they've done already. Seriously, it's completely impossible. And we might be biased a little bit, but we know it's true.
Yeah.
And nobody can change their minds otherwise.
For sure.
So I have a bit of
Go ahead.
I have a bit of confession as well. So Aftermath. So I am a proud ARMY, and I am really amazed at like some of the positive, wonderful things that ARMY can do together. But the reaction to the loss, I think, is a very disappointing moment for a lot of fans. So Lady Gaga and Ariana are amazing artists, worthy of respect, in my personal opinion. And even BTS has they've expressed their respect for both of them multiple times now. So I don't understand why some fans think it's okay to go on social media and to go on YouTube and serious hate on these artists. Those artists didn't give the award to themselves.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They were given the award. They put their performance up just like BTS did, and they were given the award. We think BTS should have gotten the award. but we shouldn't be like ragging on them. We shouldn't be going to the music video on YouTube and increasing the video dislikes by 100,000 votes. We should not be doing that, kids. That is a no-no. It's time to like, we can be disappointed without turning petty and mean. That's, I just like that kind of like attitude just really bothered me because I don't think BTS would be proud of that at all.
No, and like that's the whole thing about these fandoms, right? You get a mix of people that, you know, are super invested and want to do good, but then you also get people that can be a little bit volatile and be on the total opposite end of the scale. And by no means does it reflect every fan or the fandom in general, but yeah, there's sometimes those disappointing moments that we all have, and that you're kind of like, well, that doesn't, like, it's to your point, it's like it doesn't help with moving on in the future. Like, I don't know, it doesn't paint a good picture. And so I would feel very similarly and echo exactly what you mean. Although I did see something about how fans had managed, I don't know if it was on iTunes or whatever. I couldn't find it on Apple Music after, but I know someone posted on Twitter that all the songs were charting because everyone was streaming and stuff. And so I like love something like that. Like it's like kind of like, you know, it's like rejuvenating and putting it back out there in the world and just reminding people about how much we love them. And so like that I thought was kind of cool. But,
I love that. Yeah. It's just being positive. It's like you can be disappointed without being harmful to somebody else, I think. And it's about turning that disappointment into something positive and sort of like just promoting your artist versus dragging somebody else down 100%.
For sure. And it's not like BTS isn't getting recognition, period. Like how much have they been acknowledged for in the past years and how much they've accomplished? Like there's nothing to be upset about. It's just one more step they got to take and they'll get there. Like I have full confidence that this isn't like there's no end here. It's just going to keep getting better. So
I am right there with you.
So something else I wanted to talk about with the Grammys was BTS's interview afterwards. And it kind of shocked me a little bit because I had to process what was going on because we've seen all these interviews with them, especially coming to North America. I know it's always fun for us to watch and see how that goes. And you could just tell, like, obviously we knew how much the boys really wanted this award, and you could just read on their faces, like they were trying so hard to not show their disappointment to ARMY and make everyone feel good about it, because I think they almost know, like you were saying with the like fandom and how they almost know how intense it's going to make some people feel, so they were trying really hard to, you know, navigate that and let it go in the right direction. So I thought it was very interesting with RM in particular. Usually he's really put together, and how he talks in English, it's like I find he always speaks very well out of all the members. And that was like the first time in a long time I've seen him trip up so much that like you could tell he was really just struggling to say what he wanted to say and how to say it right. And so it kind of touched me watching that, because I was like, oh, I really feel for them, because you're just like being a fan of them and seeing them. It's kind of crazy to think that you're at the level, you understand their personality enough that you know, hey, this isn't a language barrier issue. This is just an emotional moment. And that's where the trouble speaking comes from. So I don't know how you felt about that.
I am right there with you, because usually RM, like you said, is very eloquent and he's able to express himself. Like he may like trip over a word here and two, and that's just like a fact that he's probably thinking Korean and translating into English. But he has always got what he wants to say, and he says it well. But to see him struggle like that, you can tell it, like you said, it was an emotional moment. And it was just like trying to like, even like as he's like talking about it, he's probably feeling that disappointment and that upset and trying to spin it into more positive. So like reminding himself, well, we really just wanted to be able to have a solo performance on the Grammys. That was our next step last year. That's what we wanted. And the whole nomination was sort of like icing on the cake, and trying to remember that and trying to remind himself about that. So I agree that it was sad to see, and it was sad to see them like upset about it too, and it was very strange because like they're usually so like put together that it's hard to see them that emotionally affected.
100%. And so what else did you think about like the rest of the show? So you're talking a bit about like COVID, and then like of course we actually haven't really talked about the performance. Like it was kind of cool that they did the whole rooftop thing. I thought it was kind of a fun play that they did something a little different, right?
Doesn't it blow your mind that they were able to recreate the Grammy set so perfectly?
Yeah, right?
And in such a short amount of time. I was reading this article about like organizers from the Grammys, and even they were just like completely mind blown how fast their production people were able to like recreate that. It was so seamless. The one take, they probably did it like 15 times and were exhausted by the time they were done. But like they were able to do that one take shot, working their way from the recreated set up to the roof and to like the helipad and like the lights and just like and the fact that they were able to sing so well, doing all the like I'm sorry, I can barely talk when I'm walking up that many stairs.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought too.
They can sing so well doing all that and traveling all in that one take. That's just amazing. It's just very like impressive. This is why they should have won the performance.
Right.
This is
the performance
why.
level above everything else. Like I think that's what people forget, because in Korea it's so much about the music shows and the level of performance. In North America, it's like, how good is your music video? Which I mean, Dynamite was an amazing music video. I'm sorry, just everything about that video was great. So like I will never knock that. But the performances, like the different amount of performances they have done and how unique each one of them are, like the ones they did in North America versus the ones in Korea, and then the ones for these award shows, like they're all different, and it's so impressive.
I know. And another thing, I don't know if you noticed, but and like other people can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like I got through like 3/4 of the show and I was like, did they announce the awards and did I miss it? Because like the duo group performance is typically something that's televised when they award it.
Right.
And I'm like, did I miss it? So I get on my phone and I start, it was awarded already. Oh, they didn't win. Why is it not on TV?
Oh, yeah.
And it just gave me a bad feeling about the whole thing, because A, they didn't televise the award, and B, they stuck their performance so late in the show,
right?
That it just smacked and screamed clout chasing to me. It's like they were trying to use I don't want to put such a negative vibe on it, but it just feels like they were using them for ratings. And
I mean, there could be a level of that, right?
Yeah, and so that's why, like, when Army started the hashtag scammies, I was just like, oh, there's a little bit of truth there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're using all, like, that's what it's all about, right? Like, for sure, all these artists we're talking about that were performing are all heavy hitters and people that are gonna, like, that's why the performances sometimes are like watch worthy or over the top or a little extra, like that boa and things like that. Like those are things that people talk about water cooler the next day. I don't know if that's cool to say anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, so in knowing that Army is such a huge fan base and that it's gonna bring people in to watch, then sure, I can imagine they would want to do that. I mean, it kind of works both ways because we want them in there, but yeah, to your point, if they're like not announced properly, that kind of sucks and takes away from what it is. But
this a little extra level of burn in the whole thing. But
right.
Like, and from like another perspective, from like a production and television and ratings perspective, I totally get why, because like our generation, like our parents' generation, award shows were big. Yeah. Now it's like as the years go by, it's less and less popular. People care less and less about them, and they're trying to survive. So they're trying to bring in new viewers, and that's not going to happen. Because like I don't know, it's I think they're struggling and they're doing everything they can to like bring up viewership, and it feels like they're just using BTS a little too much to do it.
Right. well, all we can do is look forward to next year and hope it will be better, and hopefully we'll all be, super excited for what's to come. So
Exactly.
I don't know.
We need
exciting,
a few
more, right?
Yeah, exciting. We need a few more armies on that voting committee.
Right. So now that we've got the big topic out of the way of the Grammys, I wanted to get to kind of a new segment, I guess, but we'll have it going forward. So the whole idea of this podcast is to share things that we love with other people and why we love it and why you should love it. So Lisa and I are going to kind of take turns and pick something that the other isn't, maybe just doesn't know a lot about, or they've never listened to or experienced before, and then try and kind of get our first opinions and first reactions to it, and yeah, just share why we love it so much. So I'll start with mine. So what I wanted to bring forward today was Soul. So not the movie that just came out, and not the music genre, but an artist named Soul, Sole. So she's an R&B singer, and she currently is part of the Amoeba Culture label. So for anyone that doesn't know, that's a hip hop label. It was started by Zico, and so there's artists in that label such as Dynamic Duo. Crush would have been part of it recently, and then he's moved on since. But that's pretty much what the vibe is about. So she's been around since about 2017. She's been on the reality TV circuit. So she's been on Superstar K, The Voice Korea, and then she's kind of finally fallen into what her style is. So they kind of casted her originally in a group, which I'm so glad that she's turned into a solo act, because her voice is just, I don't know, something about it just hits me. It's like silky and so perfect, and it's like the absolute best chill music. Like if I ever need to focus on something and just relax, I can put on any of her songs and I am like super content. I would say she's grossly underrated. So I'll say if you go watch any of her music videos, they're kind of low budget still, but she's super charming. And yeah, so what I sent to Lisa was her latest song called to be exact. But yeah, what did you think about it, Lisa?
Okay, so at first I thought it was going to be something pretty like slinky and sexy. I think it's because I'm coming off of Kai's
right. Yes, different song completely.
Very different vibe. But this one, I thought I couldn't say it was something that really like caught me right away. It's very chill, like Steph said. It's like she's got this great R&B sort of mix with indie pop kind of sound, very relaxing, something that you definitely want to put on one of your playlists where you just want to chill out to and have it in the background while you're focusing on something. Because she definitely gives you that sort of like, this is nice.
Vibe. Yeah, I don't know. She's got, when her voice goes higher, like she's got this beautiful like richness to it, but then when she goes higher, it's just so airy, and I don't know how to explain why I love it so much, but I could listen to it all day long. And it, to me, she's also the perfect like collaboration artist. So one thing I noticed is she pairs a lot with another artist on her label, Sama, and them together, like, so he's a male artist, like their voices are just like, they are the like perfect, I call it the power chill duo. Like yeah, I just adore them together, and I'm so glad that I want to say they moved from a different label together, like, so they seem to be kind of a pair and get often to be paired together a lot. So you can definitely find a lot of tracks with them on it, and if you like soul after hearing this and listening to it, you should definitely check it out. All right, so like we talked a little bit about her as an artist and her sound and everything like that, but what did you think about the song in particular that I sent you?
So the song itself was featuring Cosmic Boy, and what I really liked about the song was that it's kind of like that you're talking about this other person that you're having this fascination with, and like you want to be with them, and it's sort of like that kind of fun beginnings of a relationship. You're not really official, but there's like something going on there. And like it's like she did it in a really like fun way lyrically, and it was like not obvious, but it's just like a really chill kind of like, I'm digging you. Let's do a little more with this. So I think
Yeah.
that was such a fun way of taking the song.
Yeah, and I thought like the video kind of matches that little bit of cheekiness to it for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Another thing to note about her that's really cool is like, so she would be doing a lot of her own lyrics. I didn't look specifically to know if she wrote this song, but I know she has experience in writing her own songs, and then she also does some production. So Cosmic Ways, you meant he produced that song, but she has done her own as well. So she's a pretty well-rounded artist, which is exciting to see too. Like I know how much more invested we get knowing, you know, how much they participated in the song, and it's really like their own. So yeah, she's another one of those ones that is just super well-rounded. And yeah, I just enjoy her vibe. And yeah, it's just so, like you said, it's just so easygoing and just like a nice little cheeky, I don't know, kind of reminds me of a little bit, I don't know if you ever listened to Kiss 'Em. She does a lot more rap, but she's definitely a little cheeky too in how she delivers everything in her lyrics and her songs and relationships and things like that. So there's a couple of like the hip hop kind of R&B vibes there that some other artists touch on that I tend to really like those songs a lot.
Yeah, so I think she's definitely somebody that I'd be interested in seeing more from. So I think I might do
Mm-hmm.
some digging into her discography to see if there's something else in there that might make her a new favorite, because it's
Mm-hmm.
very nice, like kind of sound that you like to just relax to, definitely.
For sure. So, on my parting words for everybody, if you are intrigued by her, one song I really enjoy is Happiness. And then if you want something a little bit more low key, Slow is a beautiful song and really showcases her voice a lot. But I don't know. I will honestly say I've probably listened to most of her discography, and I can't say I've ever been disappointed. It's just you could just put it all on like shuffle, and you could have a nice relaxing day and not have anything that comes up that's jarring, and you're like, ooh, it just all sounds nice together.
Nice.
So yeah, I think she's a great artist, and make sure you check her out.
Okay, so my turn. So the song I wanted to share with Steph this week was Epik's Rosario. So Epik is a 3-member hip hop group, a legendary group in Korea. They first debuted or first became active around 2001. So it's been 20 years that they've been sort of like building up their career and like expanding their influence and just being amazing artists. So there's 3 members. So there's Tableau, there's Mithra Jin, and there's DJ Two Cuts. And this album is like sort of like a special anniversary album. What if you listen to some of the interviews Tabloid has, he's just like, whatever, it's not really intended to be an anniversary album, but being Tabloid's dry kind of, this, we're not really that important kind of attitude. But the song itself, Rosario, is featuring CL of our 21 fame and Zico. Yeah, yeah, 있을 때 잘해, 없을 땐 닥치고 있을 때 잘해. 진짜 그렇게 편히 쉬기를 바랬다면 fuck resting, 그냥 please my money, you ain't missing nobody.
Yeah, well, immediately this is a huge powerhouse of a collab here. Like, I mean, to have Zico and CL on a track, never mind like Epik in general. Like, of course, I'm familiar with all these artists. I didn't at the time though when Lisa brought up to me. I hadn't watched the video yet. It was on my list, so I was like, definitely, I will get on that and I will watch it for you. So, I mean, I had gone in with pretty high expectations because it's kind of hard to imagine these guys not sounding good together. I really love the vibe they ended up going for at the end of the day. Like, so immediately I was impressed with the video in general. Like, super cool. You know, they did the mobile view versus like it being the usual like landscape kind of orientation that we're used to. So I like immediately catch my attention. Beautiful typography, graphic designer by trade in me was like, well, I always love it when there's a nice little title sequence. So immediately impressed. And then, you know, a little bit of Latin flavor in the music, which I was like, this is definitely down with Lisa's track. So super impressed by that. I always love, like, I'm a huge fan of Tableau's voice and how he approaches things. So not a surprise there that I loved it. I also thought the way they made everyone look with like the makeup and the styling, super cool. And there's like some movie references in there with like the Hey Johnny and the axe and the door. Like the video is definitely just worth a watch in general, never mind the song being great. So I was overly impressed like from the get-go. In terms of the song itself, I thought it was a really well balanced between, I was kind of wondering what CL's role was going to be. And I liked that they focused on her voice a little bit more and kind of helped her soften it out a little bit versus, because she could go rough too, as we've seen in some scenarios. So I like that they played that. Well, she looked like a queen, like those big puff shoulders and the silhouette. It was really some really beautiful scenes in there. And so I really appreciated that. And I am a sucker for whatever reason, anything that's like kind of a gangster themed story. I really enjoy. So fun. I was kind of like, I mean, watch the video. I don't want to explain it all to you, but definitely was worth a watch. And I can't say, like, there's so many videos we watch nowadays, and I'd say they're getting less and less notable, but this one was definitely a notable one for me. So I was really impressed.
Awesome. I'm glad you liked it, because I know fun little Easter egg, or at least a lot of fans pulled it up as an Easter egg. Have you ever seen their video for Born Hater?
Yes. Okay. I was trying to think of that. Is it also in the mobile view too?
I can't remember if it's also in the mobile view, but like, you know, some of like the rooms that are like in the Rosario video were very similar to the rooms in Born Hater. And a lot of people were pulling that out and trying to think of theories and Easter eggs to see like how it was connected. Like Tableau and the other boys in Epik were just like, you people imagine all you want, but it's really fun to like pull those connections through from the different videos.
For sure.
Born Hater, if anybody's new to Epik, Born Hater is a really good introduction song. It's one of their bigger internationally, but I think it'd be a good sort of segue to get into some of the earlier music. Like their most recent is pretty amazing. But definitely Born Hater is a good way to sort of like introduce you to some of their earlier stuff.
Yeah, and I think they're doing like so many of these great collabs lately too. So, I mean, there's lots to expect there. And I mean, they are like the fathers of K-hip hop, really, if you think about it, right?
Yeah, so they are definitely pioneers for sure.
Exactly. So it's like, if you're interested in K-hip hop, Korean hip hop, you definitely should be checking them out and watching what they had to offer. But now that you said the Born Hater thing, I think I'm going to go back and watch that video, because the second you said it, I didn't think about that when I was watching it, but now that you say it now, I can get why people are connecting them, because I can totally see a little bit of a resemblance there. So that'll be interesting to watch it again, because I haven't watched that in a long time. So
I know, exactly.
Yeah, very cool. So I appreciate you sharing with me. Obviously, totally in my realm of I like myself Korean hip hop too. So very much appreciate watching it.
Okay, so that's pretty much all for today. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and for joining us in another fan confession. We're always looking for new perspectives and new ideas, and we'd love to hear like how me and Steph shared something new with each other. We'd love to hear from you about something you think that we've never seen before. We'd love to be introduced to a new artist or a new song or new anything. So give a comment at the bottom, like, subscribe, and stay safe. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.